Killer, what's good, man?
How you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, man. Today I almost cried thinking about you, man.
Cam started crying, man.
For real, how you doing these days, man?
I see you every day. This morning, I literally see you every day. So just this morning,
Cam going up against me is like Fredo going up against Michael Corleone.
right now, unless Jake feels like being nostalgic or whatever, you're gonna see those hats that you wear. It ain't. We could go Roc-A-Fella every 5, 6, 7, 8 years, but this is what we pumping.
It's what it is
right now. Exactly. So it's never not a problem to feel nostalgic and reminisce. But if you do too much of that reminiscing and just base everything you doing off of what the past was, you just gonna sound like a nigga with a bunch of stories and you old and bitter and so on and so forth. The thing about the nigga Jay, in my opinion, is he's been so great at being not just irrelevant, seen but mysterious. You know what I'm saying? He don't got to come talk about nothing. You figure it out.
Yeah.
You want to talk? All right, whatever. I don't care. Go look at the next announcement I make.
He's cameo.
Yo, just this morning you gonna cry for me?
Yeah, man.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I hear you, man.
You never told me about you and Big L and Dame being in the car.
I was on my way to the hill, me, him, and Big L. And I made a left on Amsterdam into a checkpoint, and I didn't have a license. But at that time, they didn't really always lock you up, but they sometimes did. So I was like, yo, I think I can get out of this, but I'm just letting y'all know I got 3 bricks in the car. But
The Harlem legends just shook the internet again. This time, Mase and Camron straight up embarrassed Dame Dash, and they didn't even have to raise their voices to do it. After Dame tried taking credit for their success, they clapped back with humor so sharp it sliced through every ounce of ego he brought to the table. It was wild to watch, and the culture is still talking about it. Dame Dash really can't seem to keep Mase and Cam out of his mouth. Every time things cool down, he finds a way to stir that Harlem pot again. After years of low-key tension, the drama just got reignited, and it's louder than ever. Dame recently jumped on a small podcast talking that old-school Roc-A-Fella talk, but somehow he managed to make it about himself again. He started out chill, reminiscing about ownership and business moves, but halfway through his tone flipped. Suddenly, he was claiming that Mase and Cam's hit show It Is What It Is came from his mentality, that their boss energy was inspired by watching him hustle. The internet didn't buy it for a second. Fans instantly called him out, saying, Dame's out here living off stories from the early 2000s like it's still Roc-A-Fella season. Let's be real, Dame had nothing to do with that show. Mase and Cam built It Is What It Is from scratch. No label, no investors, just Harlem flavor and that untouchable chemistry.
Yo, I seen that. I didn't know me, Big L, and Jay was in the car together.
Cam started crying, man. And he told us right then and there that he would put himself in PC. Dude, I'm putting myself in PC. Me and Big L like, what? What?
I didn't even know that Big L and Dame have ever been in the car together.
Oh, man.
You know what's crazy? I was going to save that for my show because I didn't want to get into this. I really didn't want to get into it.
Yeah, I was going to mind my business, but I saw Mo with the popcorn. I said, so he's taking my part, boss.
I've never, get Mo got the
I'm out here talking with Flea.
So we went to the side and was like, you know, afterwards we were laughing, but I was like, I will never hustle with him. He's a ball player and he does music. So I never really, he's a civilian. But you can't be saying you're the best that ever did it in Harlem and you never sold drugs. And if you had to go to Ohio after you was a rapper, that's not the best that ever did it. How dare you say some shit?
So when that interview started making rounds on social media, people lit it up. Comments were flying like, Dame got to stop rewriting history. He wasn't in the studio. He wasn't in the planning. Stop it. But the best part, Mase and Cam didn't even need to post a rant. They handled it live on their own show, in front of millions. The very next episode, they turned the whole thing into comedy gold. Mase looked dead into the camera and said, Yo, stop letting people rewrite history, man. Ain't nobody teach us how to talk. We was born with game. That line hit like a mic drop. Then Cam followed up cool as ever, smirking like he'd been waiting for that setup. He said, Dame out here talking like he invented hustle. Nah, he just loud about it. The studio erupted. The chat went crazy. And social media crowned them both the kings of clapbacks once again. Behind those laughs, though, you could feel the truth hit hard. Mase and Cam weren't just joking around. They were done with Dame Dash trying to ride their wave every time they make a move. You could see it in their eyes. This wasn't about comedy anymore. It was about setting the record straight once and for all. Because this ain't the first time Dame pulled that same tired move. Every time one of them wins, here comes Dame sliding into another interview, name-dropping and acting like he played some secret role in their success. From Dipset's legendary run to Mase's comeback glow up, Dame's been out here reminding people how much he inspired Harlem, like he's the godfather of every Harlem hustle.
Say for Tony, but I didn't know that nigga was such a liar. Like, you know how your man is your man, so you probably don't be annoyed. Like that's your man. You be like, nah, you just hate us. I didn't know this nigga lied like that, man. Yeah. First of all, let me tell you something. And I'm going to tell you to talk Flea, but Mase no.
Yeah.
Yo, listen, bro. Big L is not your man. This whole shit don't even make no sense. First of all, I'll say this real quick because we got to move on. Me, you, and Big L going to get drugs or riding around Harlem don't even sound right. Big L didn't f with you. I tried to plug you into Big L when you wanted to sign him when he started his own label with Flamboyant. And y'all was trying to sign him. But Big L brother, Big Lee and Reg, they didn't like you. If you had 3 bricks in the car, or you was on the way to get 3 bricks in the car, on the way to get bricks, whatever fucking lie you told, story you told, you wouldn't have made it home. Big L lines niggas. Mase, right?
Yeah. You lied to me.
But truth be told, Harlem outgrew him a long time ago. And that's exactly what made this roast so perfect. It wasn't just jokes, it was poetic closure. When Mase and Cam started firing off those lines, it was like they were freeing themselves from the shadow Dame's been trying to cast for years. The message was clear as day. You not our boss. You just a memory. That one stung. And you know Dame felt it wherever he was watching from. After that episode dropped, the internet went absolutely insane. Clips flooded every feed, fans reposting and commenting like crazy, calling it the funniest Harlem clapback ever.
No, Big
you
L,
got a point there. Yeah, you quick on your feet.
Big L lines like barbers, my nigga. You wouldn't have made it home, my nigga. Stop, yo, it's really, you going out bad, bro. Stop lying, my nigga. Me, you, and Big L have never been nowhere to get no work or had no work or stopped in a checkpoint or nothing, my nigga. You going out bad, but I'll just don't talk with Flea Murder. But yeah, man, you might need to say a prayer for me.
Yeah.
But more than that, people were praising the way Mase and Cam handled it. No shouting, no chaos, just calm dominance. The way Mase's quiet confidence matched Cam's smooth, sly humor made it feel like they were untouchable. Then Cam dropped a line that had the whole internet screaming facts. He said, every time we do something, somebody from the past pop up saying they taught us. Bro, you wasn't in the room when we was building this. That hit deep because it exposed a truth everybody's been thinking. For years, Dame's been doing the same pattern, trying to stay relevant by attaching himself to whoever's hot at the moment. First it was Jay-Z, then Kanye, and now it's Mase and Cam. He always positions himself like the architect behind everyone's success, even when the blueprints never had his name on them. And then Mase slid in with a calm but cutting line that finished the job. He said, it's funny, 'cause when we was all coming up, I don't remember him giving me no mic, no beat, no contract. I just remember him talking a lot. Ouch. That right there hit like a truth bomb wrapped in Harlem wit. Because Mase didn't even have to spell it out. He was saying Dame's biggest contribution wasn't action, it was attitude. Sure, Dame was loud, confident, even motivating. But when it came to results, it was always the artist who made the real history.
What do you have to say about this? If y'all don't know, y'all keep bringing Larry's name up. You be like, yeah, I gave you Larry.
I put you with Larry.
Pause.
Because your show, you're sitting next to Larry. I introduced you to Larry.
Man, I got a lot, but a little.
First of all,
I'm the reason why he got sued.
But what happened was Larry and I and Muddy Waters, the people that are suing me now, we all threw down on a movie and there was a disagreement of some sort. And this is the reason why I have all these lawsuits now. And I don't like the way Larry did his business and he hung up.
Then came the line that broke the internet. Cam looked straight into the camera, grinning, and said, next time Dame talk about us, I'm sending him an invoice for emotional consulting. He clearly think he managing us again. The room erupted. Mase doubled over laughing, and you could see everyone behind the scenes losing it too.
Let's move on to A-Track. He talking about he's supporting A-Track album. One day Dame like, yo, this nigga ain't A-Track, he's nice, da 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 da. I'm like, all right, cool, Dame got an ear, he know what's going on. Let's do it. A-Track come to my house. This probably 2013, 14, I got a studio in my house. He come to my house, his word to everything I love. I'm cooking, I'm doing songs. I'm cooking, I'm doing songs. I'm in the middle of shuffling. You can ask anybody who there. Rocky, Dame's wife, his assistant, they all still around. Ask him. I'm shuffling, doing songs. I cooked a full course meal and knocked out 7 songs in like an hour and a half. 7 songs, and cooked everybody food, sandwiches, all that. That's me. That's how well-rounded I am. They can't deny. You ask somebody, he'll tell you.
Within hours, that one line had gone completely viral. Millions of views flying across TikTok, Instagram, X. Everywhere you looked, someone was quoting Cam's joke. Fans flooded comment sections under Dame's old interviews, saying stuff like, Harlem's unpaid life coach strikes again, and somebody get Dame a time machine cause he's stuck in 2002. Even the big hip-hop blogs couldn't resist. Headlines popped up everywhere. Mase and Camron roast Dame Dash for rewriting Harlem history. The internet ate it up. But the thing is, this moment wasn't just another viral laugh. It felt like a cultural reset. Because Mase and Cam didn't roast Dame out of hate. They did it from a place of truth and evolution. 4 years, Dame's been preaching ownership, independence, and legacy. All good messages. But his delivery, it's been aggressive, alienating, and out of touch with how the new generation moves. Meanwhile, Mase and Cam have shown that you can still be a boss, but have fun doing it. They brought Harlem pride into a new era, confident, funny, unbothered. They don't need to shout, "We bosses," anymore because the success speaks for itself. That's why when they clowned Dame this time, it hit different. It wasn't cruel. It was the kind of roast that comes from two men who once looked up to someone, only to realize they had to outgrow him to really shine.
Gets that honor up, and it's a lie what he said. It was a lie. So I'm like, why is he lying? And then I'm like, he knows Mook is in there. Pause. In the movie, Smoke Dizza, my OG Daniel, Black, my whole crew. So you trying to diss my whole crew and make what they did whack, but everybody else says it's good. It was in the New York Times. Kanye gave the illest premiere and everyone said it was, everyone has said that. Why would you say that?
Promote it. I'm saving you by not promoting it. It was nasty. You my man. I ain't gonna let you go outside like that. All them other niggas who let you go outside like that, they ain't your man.
Let's keep it real, though. Dame Dash didn't fall off overnight. There was a time when he was that guy. Back in the Roc-A-Fella days, Dame was the loudest, boldest voice in hip-hop. Flashy suits, big energy, and always next to Jay-Z screaming, "We bosses." He represented that early 2000s dream, the idea that black entrepreneurs could own their art, their image, their brand. But after the Roc split, everything changed. Jay-Z kept building quietly, stacking wins in the shadows. Dame, on the other hand, never stopped talking. And somewhere along the line, that talk started sounding less like confidence and more like bitterness. Over the years, he's popped up on every podcast that'll have him, lecturing about morals and loyalty. But the vibe doesn't inspire the same way it used to. What once sounded like game now feels like he's trying too hard to stay relevant. And that's exactly what Mase and Cam were calling out, that "I built everybody energy Dame keeps pushing." The narrative that he made the people who surpassed him. Mase summed it up perfectly during the show when he looked at the camera and said, "You can't take credit for something you didn't create just cause you used to be around it."
One big setup. I will say that. I think this whole from the jump is a setup, bro. Dame is beefing with 50 Cent on the internet. I bump into 50 Cent. 50 Cent sees me and be like, "Killer, what's up? Getting some money." You know, oh, nigga, what you used to do back in the days, patting the pocket, you getting that money? Cool. Me and 50 good. We ain't got no problem. Dame calls me and says, "Yo, I seen 50. How you gonna let him pap you?" This is verbatim what Dame said. I'm telling the audience verbatim. "Yo, I seen 50, you and 50, how you gonna let them pap your pockets? That ain't Harlem."
We not, Harlem niggas don't do the Pat Pat Club. When you see niggas from Harlem, just give them a pound.
You down with the Pat Pat Club?
We not in the Pat Pat Club.
How you down with the Pat Pat Club, letting niggas pat your pockets?
Yo, why he giving you the Pat Pat?
Your pockets. I say, "Damn, I don't give a f." Now, mind you, pause this story right there. If you gonna say something about 50 cents, what are you calling me for to get my okay if you're beefing with 50 cents? You shouldn't even have to call me about that if you're gonna be talking about 50 cents. Dame gets on the blog and says, "Yeah, and this nigga Cam let 50 cents smack him on."
That line was surgical, calm, honest, and final. It was Harlem's way of saying, the era has changed, and not everybody got the memo. Mase dropped another line that hit straight to the heart of Harlem's truth. He said, "Harlem's problem is too many people want to be the boss of everything, even when they ain't do the work." The crowd went silent for a second. That one landed deep. Then Cam followed up smooth as ever, adding, "You can't claim everybody's success just because you yelled the loudest in the room." That combo hit harder than any diss record because they weren't just talking about Dame Dash. They were talking about a whole mindset that's been holding people back for years. The truth is, Dame had every chance to evolve. He could have easily joined forces with Mase and Cam, supported the movement, and gotten his flowers for being one of the pioneers who helped put Harlem on the map. But instead, he keeps acting like the game owes him something. Every time they win, he tries to sneak his name into the celebration, like he's part of the legacy they built without him. But the truth, the game moved on. The audience moved on. Harlem moved way on. Harlem doesn't celebrate old egos anymore. It celebrates growth, creativity, and resilience. And that's exactly why people are saying this roast wasn't just a clapback. It was a shift in energy.
Patted him on his hips twice. He gave him a pat. So I'm like, yo, why you smacking Cam on his ass like that? Pause. What? And
Said it, and I'm like, yo, why would he say that? I called and asked you. I asked you, could I say that? That's not what you asked, could you say, because I wouldn't agree to that. I did not agree to that. But I didn't say anything. I ignored it. I ignored the whole I just didn't pick up the phone for the nigga because I'm like, so now after that, he does another interview.
And you letting 50 smack you on the hips? And y'all chilling? Something must be going on. A Harlem never lets anybody smack him on the hips, on the ass. Not even in ball, be like, yo, stop, chill, don't smack me on.
Mase and Cam didn't waste time arguing, cussing, or throwing shade. They turned the whole thing into a masterclass on how to handle hate with style. They laughed through it, dropped gems, and racked up millions of views while doing it. That's how you win, by staying calm, staying funny, and staying focused on your bag. Even longtime Dame Dash supporters started flipping sides after this one. Comment sections filled up with messages like, I respect Dame's hustle, but he got to stop dissing people who ain't thinking about him. And this the first time somebody roasted Dame, and he can't clap back without sounding salty. You could literally feel the tide turning. Because the moment people start laughing at you instead of listening to you, your power's gone. And right now, Mase and Cam got Harlem laughing louder than ever.
Never known Dame to be a liar, but the truth, and I'm like, bro, I ain't know this nigga was a liar too. He never lied, man. Bro, I ignored you for wild interviews, and then I say honor up his whack, and he go on this campaign.
I think the narrative should be stop talking about Damon so much if you don't want to hear Damon talk.
You come talking about me with an eye patch and no top teeth, I gotta take it easy? I don't.
But do remember, I will have teeth next week. How?
So I think it's good for him. I think the internet nowadays is therapy for him. And he turned into the chatty patty that he told everybody else not to be. He probably can't afford to go to therapy right now. So this is probably good for him because
When the smoke cleared, Dame tried to brush it off. He went live talking tough, saying, they can joke all they want, but I'm still the blueprint. But by that point, the internet had already chosen a side, and it wasn't his. The roast clips were everywhere, turned into memes, remix edits, and viral sound bites. Harlem had spoken, and the message was clear. The city's future belongs to the ones still building, not the ones still bragging. Mase closed it perfectly near the end of the episode, saying with calm confidence, we not beefing with nobody. We just telling the truth, and the truth don't expire. That line sealed the whole thing in stone. Harlem's new chapter isn't about who shouted the loudest in the past. It's about who's still standing strong right now. Mase and Cam weren't trying to destroy Dame Dash. They were simply putting him back in his place. Because there's a big difference between being a legend and being a liability. Dame's still respected for what he built, but he's lost that same respect for the way he acts. His attitude turned his legacy into a cautionary tale, one that Harlem's new generation is no longer afraid to laugh at. Cam doubled down on the message with straight Harlem confidence, saying, Harlem always gonna be Harlem, but we not stuck in 2001. We outside, we moving forward. You either evolve with us or get laughed at from the sidelines. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Dame's on the sidelines, watching the same city he helped shape evolve without him.
Damn, Cam, you in here doing rhymes and cooking and yeah, man, take a turkey wing, man, get a lamb chop, man. Let me go in the booth with these bars. And you dropping fire like that, boom, yeah, cool. I knocked the whole album out, maybe 2 trips. When Dame was there, it was cool, the album was cool. As soon as Dame leave, A-Track, and he marked duty, all that, he's cool. Me and him have no problems. But he becomes all artsy. Do you think that if we put the snare where the treble should be, and then boom, we get another beat, A-Track, the done. Yo, what are you talking about? I put a marvelous masterpiece together while I was cooking. I think we should get this person on something. All right, man, do what you want. I gave you the balls. 2 years passed. Like, yo, let's freshen up the album. All right, cool. Go in the studio again. We go in the studio again. And
Harlem's throne belongs to those who are still putting in work, still connecting with the culture, and still keeping it real every step of the way. So, there you have it. Mase and Camron just reminded the entire world who runs Harlem now. Dame tried to rewrite history again, but all he managed to do was write himself into the joke. Every time he tries to attach himself to someone's win, they flip it into content. And this time, Mase and Cam made him go viral for all the wrong reasons. The craziest part about all this, Dame Dash still doesn't seem to realize how deep the shift really is. The game isn't built around gatekeepers anymore. It's built around creators who built their empires from scratch. And that's exactly what makes Mase and Cam such a problem for him. They didn't just outgrow his influence, they outperformed it. They proved that Harlem's new generation doesn't need an old school cosign to dominate culture anymore. After the roast episode went viral, industry folks started weighing in, too. Even some insiders who used to work with Dame were quietly agreeing with Mase and Cam. One producer wrote, "Dame had vision, no doubt, but he burned too many bridges to cross back." That comment alone got reposted thousands of times because people know it's true. Dame's biggest downfall wasn't lack of talent. It was his ego. He alienated everyone around him while preaching about unity. And now he's seeing that the same energy he put out is circling back.
some more out for the. He got some features on there now. All right, cool. I knocked it out again 2 years later. He calls me again, A-Track. Well, I think if I get this other beat, man, do what you want to do. I don't even know you like that. I'm not being cool, A-Track. I want to brush him off like I don't know him now. Another 2 years come back. We in Vegas now. Yo, Larry got a studio in Vegas. Let's go there and knock the A-Track out. Again? It's 5 years. All right, bet. Fine. Go to the studio, man. F it. It's 5 years done passed. I knock it out again. Some more. A-Track called me about 18 months later talking about, you want to do? No, I don't want to do nothing else, man. No. I knocked it out the first 48, but you want to keep doing shit over and over and over. Then when I hear the final, he calls me another 2 years. So now the album is like 9 years old. He calls me and says, yo, I think I got distribution. Man, I don't give a f about that album, man. The fuck you talking about we got distribution? Man, don't do whatever with that shit. It's a decade old. I don't give a f.
Meanwhile, Mase and Cam are expanding faster than anyone expected. Their shows pulling celebrity guests, sports stars, even politicians trying to get a taste of that Harlem energy. What started as a simple talk show turned into a cultural movement. Part barbershop, part street debate, part viral comedy hour. And the best part, they did it all without investors, without chasing deals, just Harlem hustle and real chemistry. What stings for Dame the most is that this was supposed to be his lane. He's been talking about independence and ownership for decades, but it's Mase and Cam who actually lived it. They made the blueprint he keeps bragging about following. And they did it their way with humor, not hostility. And while Dame's busy on live streams talking about being the original boss, Mase and Cam are busy turning culture into content and conversation into currency. That's the real shift right there. Harlem's power players aren't chasing nostalgia. They're creating moments that matter now. The city's heartbeat moved on. And the ones who adapted, they're the ones writing the new story. This wasn't just a roast. It was a reality check. Harlem switched gears completely, and the new generation isn't waiting around for anyone to hand them a crown. Mase and Cam built something from scratch. No backing, no favors, just straight Harlem grind and charisma. They own their platform. They own their image. And now they own the conversation. That's what real power looks like. Staying relevant, not stuck reminiscing about the past. Dame Dash had his moment, no doubt. He helped shape a golden era. But times change, and this time the new wave runs things different. They're leading with humor instead of hostility, growth instead of grudges. And that's exactly why they're winning. Harlem used to be about who shouted the loudest. Now it's about who shines the smartest. And Mason and Cam are proving every day that laughter can hit harder than lectures. Still, the question remains, did Mase and Cam go too far, or did Dame bring this all on himself? Were they just speaking facts, or did the roast cross the line? Drop your thoughts below. I want to know how you feel about it. Do you think Dame deserves another shot to reinvent himself? Or is it finally time for him to bow out gracefully? Either way, one thing's clear. Harlem's throne ain't for the loudest voice anymore. It's for the ones still building, still connecting, still moving forward. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're rocking with the real. And don't forget to share this video so the whole culture can weigh in. I'll see you on the next one. And while you're here, click that next video on your screen for even more celebrity drama and wild entertainment. You already know it's about to get even messier.